G'day and welcome to this week's Friday Beers and Tools. Trying out a little different scene here. Let me know if the lighting's crap or whatever, but I thought I'd let you see outside of my beautiful property here in Tasmania. It's an absolutely beautiful day today. It's summer and it's still a nice cool day, a little bit of rain around, greening up my garden, which is really cool. Anyway, shut up and get on with the beer. All right, I know I said I was not going to do any more sour beers, and I guess this one doesn't really fall into that category, but this is one from Botany Brew, which I have had some nice beers from before, and this is their Island Ale lemon and ginger. So I guess technically not a sour brew, but more like a ginger beer, I guess. Anyway, what does Botany Brew have to say about it? A zesty lemon and natural ginger are blended on a light beer base to deliver ultimate brewed refreshment. One sip of Botany Brew Island Ale transports you to a tropical island state of mind any day of the week. All right, let's see if it lives up to the hype. Happy Friday. Now that's nice. I guess it's a little bit reminiscent of a Miller Chill, I think, and not everyone likes that. It's Miller Chill is a fairly light-coloured beer with quite a lemony, zesty flavour to it. And I guess in a little bit, in a similar way, the old Corona with the lemon in the top just gives it that little zing. And I've said this before, but this would be a great one after mowing the lawn. I really like that. It's really refreshing. It is far more like a ginger beer, an alcoholic ginger beer, compared to a normal beer. But yeah, that's really nice. I actually like that. And you know how much I'm not a fan of sour beers. Well, I guess this one doesn't fall into the sour beer class. A little bit about the beer. This is 1.2 standard drinks, 4% alcohol, made by Botany Brew. And it does have a sort of a sweetness to it. So if you don't like any sweetness in your beer, you probably won't like it. But if you like something that's refreshing and different to a normal beer, then give this one a go. It's nice. The lemon is sort of it's almost like a lemon zest. It's got that little bit of a tang to it, which is really nice. And the ginger is not overwhelming, but it's there. It's nice. Look, I'm really taken by that. That's one of my new favourite beer non-beers. That's a 5 out of 5 spanners for me. Finally, a non-beer that is really nice. And it is classed as a beer. In fact, it's probably classed as an IPA. It's a hard one because it's a ginger beer. Who cares? I like it. I'm good. Alrighty, on to this week's tool. So a number of YouTubers that I've been watching have been using steam cleaners, particularly handy for cleaning inside the vehicle, vents and things like that. The added bonus is that steam is an antibacterial. I also note that some use them on various different engine parts. It's particularly good at getting rid of greasy areas and things like that without doing any damage. So I'm going to do a follow-up video on this, actually using it on a vehicle. But this is my initial impression. This is a 3200 watt steam cleaner designed for, they call it kitchen cleaning, high temperature, and it is an Amazon product. What's in the box? Right, well, you get some instructions. For us in Australia, you get an Australian 240 volt cord, and I believe there is a 110 volt or 115 volt version as well available in the States, but this one's specifically 240 volt. You get quite a long steam wand, which interchanges with the head and gives you better reach. Whoops. That's going to be handy, especially in engine bays and things like that. Brass is a little bit grabby. That's okay. What do we got here? Oh, a couple of brushes. Oh, that's handy. Again, I guess it's designed more for a domestic environment, but like I said, there's a lot of YouTubers that are using them in cars. Get a little brass brush, which goes onto the end. You get a large, you get some O-rings. You get a large brush. I guess that would be very handy in cleaning showers and things like that. And then you get a small bristle brush, very, very strong bristles for general cleaning. All right, let's get it out of the box. This is the brass. Interesting. Okay, so interesting fact, the nozzle end does not actually go onto this end. This is purely just designed for attaching onto the different brushes. So that's interesting. However, when the nozzle ends here, the brushes also attach onto there. That's interesting. All right, get it out of its plastic. It's a lovely little compact unit, and I guess probably one of the biggest problems will be it only has a fairly small fluid container, which doesn't actually tell me how big that container is. Yes, it does. Okay. It does have a fairly small fluid container, 900 mils, but I guess that should give you a fair amount of steam generation. Has a carry handle, and it does have a variable nozzle on top, which will vary the pressure, I believe. Has a fill port on top, fill port, and that doesn't screw in, it just sits in there. And it does come with a 2 meter length of piping, so that's pretty good. Have it on the ground, being able to use the wand, and it also has a 1.5 meter power cable. As I mentioned, a couple of extra O-rings for sealing. All right, I guess the next thing to do is to put some water in it, plug it in, see what it does. I don't really want to do much here in my with my dad's old table here, but we can at least see if it works. Stand by. Okay, half filled it up with water. Obviously, I'm just going to do a demo with it today. So turning the switch on, and you get a green light here. I don't know how long it takes to, let's go to max setting.
A few moments later.
It does put out a fair bit of water until I guess it gets up to temperature. So let's just turn it on again. I've now got a bucket available. The wand gets hot. It does get to a maximum of 105. Yep, here we go. Wow, that is that's on the highest setting. I'm just going to turn that down. So, okay, so turning it down to 0, I don't know whether you can hear me still, reduces the amount of steam considerably. That's still pretty impressive though. And it's bloody hot. The wand gets hot, and even the plastic coated cord here on my leg is quite hot too. That's pumping out a fair bit of steam. Yeah, let's turn that off. that's impressive. That puts out a fair bit of this. This has actually got some heat to it. Not burning hot, but it's warm. Let's go back to the specs for a sec. Right. Now, we didn't get very far because I thought it was going to take longer than that to heat up. Let's talk about the specs. 190 by 150 by 130 mil, or 7.5 by 5.9 by 5.1 inches. As I mentioned, the pipe length is 2 meters and the power cable is 1.5 meters. It is 3200 watt with a 900 mil capacity and the steam pressure of 3 bar, which is getting up there. I'll put that up here in PSI because I don't know what the conversion is off the top of my head. Water consumption is 200 to 500 mils per minute. So that to me means that you've got, on the top setting, you've probably got less than 2 minutes of work with this 900 mil capacity. Max output temperature is 105 degrees Celsius. You would not want to have your hand in front of this. It will burn you. It's a very handy little unit. This particular version cost me $98 delivered, which I think is pretty good value for money. And it is 3200 watt. Amazon tells me they're currently unavailable, this particular one. There is one that looks identical to it available, but it says it's only 2500 watt. So, and the 2500 watt one is $115.99. I'm not sure how that works. It's 800 watts less and dearer. Anyway, I'm sure this one will come back onto Amazon. Anyway, I'll put a link down below for a couple of different options for you. For around about the $100, I think it's a great little handy gadget, even if it's for, you buy it for the missus for cleaning up around the house. I mean, for me to clean up around the house, I would never make the missus do those sort of work. That's my job as a house husband, apparently. But this one I've bought for car work. So she's not getting a look in on this one. She's not getting this one. Let's talk value for money. Look, at around $100, I think it's a fantastic little addition. I guess it could have a bigger capacity container on it, which would give you a bit longer time. But I guess we'll see in real world testing. Like I said, I had that on the lowest setting, and it says that on the lowest setting it uses 200 mils per minute. So that's approximately 5-ish minutes with a full tank of water. Still not very much, and on the max setting, like I said, it's only going to last you a couple of minutes. But anyway, that's real world testing, and we'll get onto that at some stage in the future. So for value for money, I think that's probably a 4 out of 5. It's not something that you need in your workshop, but I think it's going to be very handy in my kit. It looks pretty good to me. For functionality, well, you see how much pressure that puts out, and yeah, I'd hate to be on the receiving end of that at the maximum pressure. That would give you some pretty nasty burns. So obviously keep it away from kids. This is a fairly dangerous. It does have a caution high temperature sticker on it. So yes, and steam scalds are really bad. They don't heal well. So for functionality at the moment, before I test it in the real world, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because that's pretty impressive pressure. And like I said, probably my only negative so far is the size of the water hopper. Could be larger to give you a little bit more run time, but look, you just pour more water in the top. So what? It's not hard. So hopefully I haven't been too dark in this video. I will check that whilst I'm editing and see if I can improve that, but if it needs improving. But anyway, that's it for this week. Hope things are good with you, and I may be slowing down a little bit on my fry bat segments because I'm actually running out of tools. And boss says I'm not allowed to buy a lot more tools. So maybe back to just a fry segment where I try a new beer. I like this beer. Anyway, hope things are good with you, and see you next Friday, hopefully. Don't know how long it takes to heat up, but I guess we're going to find out. That is is 190 by 150 by 130. I'm going to put, okay, this is going to be messier than what I thought. Ow, ooh, ow. We're still rolling. Sorry about that. It was a bit messier than what I thought.